In this video, we will continue our tile and guided scatter node series, and we'll just start off where we ended the last video. So at first I'll use this flat fill output from the tile scatter to create a flat fill to mask node. And I also want to invert it. And now let's take a look at the guided scatter. And the difference between the guided scatter and the tile scatter is that the guided scatter basically does all that the tile scatter does, but it has more possibilities like a mask input, a color input, offset input, and so on. And this is what makes it more powerful than the tile scatter node, but also heavier. So if you don't need any of those, I'd suggest to just use the tile scatter node. And I want to use it now to scatter smaller rocks around our big rocks here. So for that, I'll use the mask input and use our flat fill to mask here to input it into the mask input here. And as you already can see, some of the shapes disappeared. And as soon as I increase the count, you can see how the shapes will be placed according to the mask. Let's set this to grayscale. And let's also go to pattern, set it to 9. And also use our atlas input. And I'll use the same atlas as I used for the tile scatter. As you can see, those rocks are now everywhere where the bigger rocks are not. So let's just blend it over. And I'll use a maximum blend here. And as you can see, those are quite pointy now because the grayscale values are basically the same as here. They are even whiter as we blended this in. So what I want to do first, let's use an auto levels here. And use the levels on this node or connection. Let's decrease our white value. This looks nice. But as before, I'm missing quite a lot of variance here. So what I want to first do, I want to change a few parameters here, namely the position. I want to increase the offset variance. I want to also change my blend mode to default and increase the luminance variance. Let's go to size and increase the variance here as well. And we can always play with the scale a bit. But I think this looks quite nice as is. Let's also make use of the scale input. Let's create a bit space. And I want to blur my mask. Maybe a bit more. Let's preview this and use our blurred output as scale input. And what this does, so the whiter the value here is, the bigger the rocks will be. And the darker it is, the smaller the rocks will be. And what I want to do here, I want to invert this. And as you can see, where we have full black values now, the rocks basically disappear. So this is now easier than adjusting the mask when I don't want to have rocks all over the place, but just around my bigger rocks. Let's blur it a bit more. We can always override those. And we also have some settings for that. So when I go to size, you can see that after enabling the scale input, we get scale input factor, scale input, and scale input axis. I want to use both. The scale input is my input here. And the factor will determine how much influence this has on my scale overall. And we can still use the scale. Let's decrease the blur again. Let's override this to maybe 4. Looks a bit big. So with this method, you can create really realistic rock scatters, for example. And to enhance this effect, we could also use a vector input. Let's again create a bit more space. Let's use a height to direction. And let's input it here. As you can see, it basically did nothing. This is because I have to go down here. And now I can use my vector map for rotation, scale, and offset. So this is all about variance here. And same as for the tile scatter node, we have way more settings, like we can increase or decrease the mask density, the threshold, or we can even enable collision as well. But in this case, I don't think I need this, so I reset. And we also have flood fill output. And as you also can see, the node offers quite a lot of more possibilities, but I think this would be good for a more advanced video. Then we could go through every of those inputs, for example, and all the other settings. Also through the blend modes. As you can see, after turning on the flood fill, the blend mode changed to default. I want to change it to maximum again. But I think for a small introduction, this video will suffice. So let's take a look at what we created. And we have a really nice rock scatter, which is quite realistic, from big rocks to smaller rocks to really small pebbles. And if we don't like our output, we can always go back to the node and adjust a few things. For example, when I decrease the scale input factor, you can see this has way less influence. And the rocks don't have as much variance anymore. So you can just adjust this to your taste. I liked it with the smaller ones, and maybe increase this again. We have the big rocks and the crevices here. To wrap this series up, I gave my rocks a nice color and turned them into stylized rocks. And I thought this would fit the initial atlas the best. I also adjusted a few things on my guided scatter. This is something that I showed before. I went to my scale input factor and reduced it a bit, so we went from this to that. And the color setup is also quite basic. I just used a few gradient maps, blended them together, used a few grunges for color variance, and then ended up with this. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, drop us a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. For the latest news about InstaMAT, please visit our website, follow us on X, join us on Discord, or sign up for the Abstract community. You can find all the links in the video description below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.